I randomized one of the most difficult Pokemon ROM hacks in the world, Pokemon Radical Red, and attempted to beat it in a Nuzlocke. Nuzlocke rules we are playing by are: only one Pokemon can be caught per route, any Pokemon that faints in battle is gone for good, and for my run I'll be playing without any documents that give insight into the fearsome teams that we'll be facing. Radical Red follows the same story as the original Fire Red, except with a few major twists. The battles are harder, the game has all Pokemon up to Gen 9, we don't have to grind levels, there's no worry of passing level caps, and to make it even more of a challenge, we have randomized abilities as well. We start our journey with Professor Oak asking her name and introducing us to our lifelong rival, who we've actually only known for 3 seconds, and letting us pick his name, despite it being his own grandson. We awake in our room and head down to meet our mom, who tells us that Professor Oak awaits us in his lab. And just as any young teenage boy would do, we completely ignore and head straight for the tall grass outside the village, only to be stopped by the professor, who drags us back to his lab. There we meet Gary, our rival, and the bane of our existence throughout this run. As we look through our options for starters, Brionne is our best chance of making it through the first gym. So Tina the Brionne kicks it off for our team. Just as we are about to leave, Gary's inferiority complex gets the better of him, and he wants to fight us. His starter was Jangmo-o, and we decide to go with a series of growls to lessen his physical damage against us. This turns out to be a good move as he unleashes a series of leers and then a tackle. Upon seeing how little damage he does, we go on the offensive and take him out with a few bubble beams. Gary runs away crying, and we head to retrieve Oak's parcel from Viridian City. We reach the city and speak with the youngster in the grass to get our rare candies to ease up our leveling. Then hit the Pokemart to get Oak's package, booking it back to Pallet Town to deliver it. The professor gives us a Pokédex and some Pokeballs in return. Gary then tells us that he's getting a map from his sister and that she won't give us one. Knowing that we have the Riz to pull it off, we go to his house where his sister ends up giving us a map. Before leaving Pallet Town, we decide to try our luck with the Route 21 encounter, but we are in a tough spot as we stare down a gloom that could easily end our run before it really begins. We decide to run to save our Tina from the death box, but this also means we forfeit the encounter for that route. We visit home really quick to stop by for a quick heal from our mom before we head off towards Viridian City once again. Our Route 1 encounter is a Venonat. Thinking this was a horrible start, I was pleasantly surprised to see he has the ability Stamina.
That's pretty good.
Making Bugsy the Venonat an okay addition to our team. Before I forget, Tina has Poison Heal too. But back to the adventure, we follow this up by encountering a Cinescorch in Viridian City, who, after some careful back and forth to weaken, we managed to catch. This adds Meter Man to our team. After a quick stop at the Pokemart to sell some of our candies and buy some Pokeballs, we heal up before going to Route 22 for our next catch. Running around in the grass, we stumble on an Axew.
Come on.
Which, after a few failed throws, we managed to catch, and we add Axel the Axew to our team, who has a broken ability that we'll get to see later in the video. Next, we take on the friendly teacher in one of the houses, who has a team of Shedinja and requires us to use a loner team of 3 to take them all out. Doing so earns us the PokeVial, a useful tool that allows us to fully heal our team from anywhere, meaning no need to go back to the Pokemon Center just to heal. We decide to lead Aaron, using his sturdy ability to survive a hit and then set up stealth rocks, then let him go down the next turn. We then throw in Gibble, who with his rough skin ability causes the Shedinja to faint upon attacking us, causing Gibble to go down as well. Finally, we throw in Skarmory, and as we kick back, relax, and munch on some popcorn while we watch the rocks decimate the Shedinjas coming into the battle, we get to the final one. But with another Mon who has Sturdy, we are able to survive a hit and clean up with a Drill Peck to earn the PokeVial. We follow this up with a Route 2 encounter, a Cosmog, who has the potential to be very useful late game, but for now we'll ride the Pine on the bench of our team and in our box. From there we head into Veridian Forest for our next encounter. And after picking up a potion we run into Quaxley, another easy catch for us before we hop into battle with Brendan. His Corphish is hardly a threat to us, as its Vice Grip does nothing, and we take it out with a 2 disarming cries. But we make the tactical decision to switch into Meter Man against Trico, and dispatch it quickly with an X-Scissor. Brendan accepts his defeat much more gracefully than another certain someone, Gary, and after giving us a few items, leaves us to continue our way through Viridian Forest. Our next battle is against Bugcatcher Anthony, who has only one Pokemon, but it's a fully evolved Vileplume. Thankfully, as it faces Tina, it carries the ability Imposter, which allows us to avoid a switch out and button mash until we win from a damage output, helped by our level advantage. However, at the end, a crit could have very well ended Tina and caused the first death of our run.
I'm smart.
He then sends out a Cosmog, and not wanting to try my luck, I switch into Meter Man, being unfamiliar with Cosmog's possible moves. But with nothing to fear as he splashes, we punish him the following turn with a super effective X-Scissor. As we head towards the next trainer battle, we catch a glimpse of what we could have got for our encounter, a Drought Blaziken. And suddenly, I wish I could have swapped our duck for this chicken. We march into our next battle with Lass Ann, who leads with a Stuffle. And after a disarming cry, Low sweeps us, lowering our speed, and then switches into Autono, which we only tickle with our next attack. We switch to a Bubble Beam as we get yawned and do more damage. I decide to take the sleep turns as she switches back into Stuffle and barely lives a Bubble Beam. With Tina asleep, I switch to our hero thus far, Meter Man, and he eats a low sleep, once again lowering our speed. Taking an Aerial Ace pretty well from the Stuffle, we use Flame Wheel and take it out. We then destroy Autono with an X-Scissor. And nearly one-shot Clefairy with a Flame Wheel. And after taking only 1 point of damage from a Metronome turned into a Razor Leaf, we dispatch it with Autono's Wish doing nothing to help the outcome. From our victory, we earn the Infinite Repel, and proceed to our next battle with Bugcatcher Sammy, who throws out a Yamask. Seeing this as our opportunity to wear Tina's sleep turns down and not have to use a PokeVial to heal, Tina takes Nightshades until she wakes up and throws back a Bubble Beam, which obliterates and one-shots the Yamask. Finally exiting Viridian Forest, we take a detour to the right and visit Diglett Cave to get our encounter there, where we find another less than the desirable member to add to our roster, a Bonsly. Afterwards, we head into Pewter City, where we make a beeline to the Poke Center to heal our team, recharge the PokeVial, and adjust our Pokemon natures before our next big battles against Faulkner and Brock. Remembering we can talk to a shady old guy and pay 5k for an egg, I am desperate for a Pokemon that can backpack our team. I get the egg, and walk only for a second before it hatches, and from it comes the savior of our episode, the hero of our story,
Hello there.
Okay, well we still have another Pewter City encounter in the tall grass. Here we find a Dhelmise, and knowing the battles we have ahead with Brock and Beyond and Misty, this was a great addition considering the state of our team currently. As we make some changes, we swap the disappointment that is Spupa for Dhelmise, check a few of our abilities, and oh yeah, I remember we have our Moxie Axew, an Arena Trap Quaxley, and the rest of our team with some pretty decent abilities that could be helpful if we use them carefully. We top off our levels and prep our team with held items, giving Mystic Waters to Tina and Sir Quaxalt, Silver Powder to Meterman and Bugsy, followed by a Miracle Seed to Arg, and an Oranberry to Axel. We head into the museum to then take on Faulkner, where we find him admiring fossils on the top floor. We interrupt him to begin our battle. We lead our trusty Tina. Tina faces down Rufflet, and I decide to Baby Doll Eyes to lower his attack as he aerial aces, and we eat it pretty well. We decide to Bubble Beam next, and Faulkner, seeming to know that we would attack with a water type move, switches to Watch Roll. However, Tina has proven himself a beast and nearly one-shots it. It heals with the berry juice, and I worry that we may get outsped, so I switch into Axel on the hunch that maybe we can set up and sweep with the Moxie. Watch Roll Roost, giving us a damage-free switch in. I then choose to Breaking Swipes as we get hit with an Air Slash before causing good damage with our attack and lowering his attack stat. He roosts once again, but we continue to Breaking Swipes until Watch Roll's attempts to stall and waste our PP ends with it getting wasted by Axel and giving us our first Moxie boost. Next is Flittle, who Calm Munch trying to set up on its own, but a super effective Assurance sends it on its way. Axel gets another Moxie boost, which ensures that we one-shot Rufflet as it comes in and we outspeed it. And with that, we have a deathless victory over Faulkner.
That was a very intelligent decision.
Feeling confident as we leave the battle and head to Brock, I heal quickly before jumping straight in, thinking we can clear Brock easily, with Onix and Archon being my main two concerns on his team. Tina clears the Gym Trainers Growlithe and Knackley easily, opening up a path to Brock. We approach and begin our battle with the first gym leader. He starts with an Alolan Geodude, and here is where my mistakes make the battle harder than it should have been. I Aqua Jet instead of Bubble Beam, causing 3 turns to be eaten up to take out the Geodude, at the cost of damage and speed drops on Tina. Vroom comes in and a new addition to Brock's team since the 4.0 version released, and we decide to switch out to Meterman, with Tina in the yellow. He bulldozes, which we eat well and take a speed drop, but next turn we still outspeed and flame wheel our way into KOing the Vroom. Then it appears, Brock's Ace Onix, and this is where stuff goes really wrong. I was overconfident coming into the battle and underestimated Brock. Instead of making the smart play to switch into Dhelmise, I stay in, and unfortunately get outsped by the Rock Snake with a Rock Tomb that sends Meterman from our team into the Death Box in one super effective hit. A major misplay, and a lesson learned not to underestimate Brock and his beast of an Onix. Switching into Dhelmise, we get a growth off, as he goes into Archon, who hits us with a Pluck.
Falcon Punch!
We stay in with Arg and dispatch Archon with a Water Gun, and bring Brock's Onix back out. It's time to avenge Meterman.
Falcon Punch!
And with the type advantage and a growth in play, we Mega Drain after Rock Tomb, sending Onix down to 1 HP thanks to Sturdy.
Falcon Punch!
A repeat of the previous turn secures us our first gym leader victory and our first badge of the run. With 1 death, 1 badge, and a questionable team in tow, we get ready to head to Viridian City to take on Misty next time. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.
Brother, this guy stinks!